everyone. Welcome to day number 4 of the 90-day book launch. We're completing our first week, and I'm really excited about everyone who I've met this week. Thank you for getting in touch, for watching the videos, for sending me messages. I love to know who is in the trenches with me. If anyone is on their way to their book launch and preparing right now to launch in the next month or 2 or 3, definitely let me know, and we'll be a launch team. We'll be a marketing launch team together. And whether or not you're going to be self-publishing a book in the next couple of months, or even launching a traditionally published book in the next couple of months, I hope that you will tune in to learn about marketing, which is something we are going to shift gears to talking about next week. Marketing is the fuel that will get your book noticed. It will amplify your message. And, you know, it's a really busy playing field right now. I mean, there are tons of books being self-published, traditionally published daily. So it's up to us to get the message out there in the best way and the strongest way that we can. So I'm going to help you with that. And if any of you have ever come to my workshops, you know that my approach to marketing is you don't have to be an extrovert to be a marketer, to market your book. You can be an introvert. You could be the kind of author who really just wants to write and that's it, but that's not good enough anymore if you want to gain readership and sell books. So we're going to shift gears into marketing next week. What I wanted to do this week, and today is our last day of the first week of bringing you up to speed on where you should be in the process before you shift into launch mode, which is the marketing piece directly preceding the release of your book. So what we discussed this week is all of those things that you need to accomplish to get here, which is mostly having to do with, hey Jeff, having to do with preparing your manuscript. You wrote the book, you wrote it, congratulations. What do you do now? So we talked about editing, proofreading, reader feedback, sensitivity readers, beta readers. Then we shifted into cover design. Oh my gosh, I have to tell you, I just got an email. Hi, Betsy. I just got an email from my book cover designer, and she is sending over the first round of covers this afternoon, and I'm freaking excited. I can't even tell you. I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm so pumped. So what we're going to do is I'm going to review the 3 options she gives me, and then we'll kind of maybe narrow it down to 2 and go back and forth in this creative process, which is kind of thrilling, and see what the visual representation of this book is going to be, which is, right now it's just a bunch of words, right? It's like, I think 89,000 of them. But once that cover is decided, that's how your book is known from that moment on. You know, it's got that visual representation, so I'm super psyched about that. Sorry for the digression, but I had to bring you up to speed. Then we talked about, what did we talk about yesterday? What did we talk about yesterday? I can't even remember now. See, I got to write myself notes all the time. But today we're going to talk about some stuff that authors don't usually like to get on board with. But like I said, there's a way to do everything. Hey, Tom. We're going to talk about websites, author websites, social media, and newsletters. So I know I just lost half the audience because I know so many authors, they just don't want to do the social media part or the website part. Hey, Alan, how you doing? I'm so glad you're here. And the newsletter. And that's what I was working on this morning. I was working on a newsletter to make some announcements about things that I'm working on. and regarding following you and some other things that are happening. So actually, if you don't want to miss any news from me, definitely sign up for my newsletter. I am attempting to send it once a month, and there might be, they may be a little bit more frequent in the next few months if I have other news to share. But I probably won't do it many more than twice, much more than twice a month. So let's talk about websites, author websites. Now, do you need an author website? These are three of the most frequent questions I get from authors. Do you need a website? Do I need to do social media and be on social media and talk about my book on social media? And do I need to send out a newsletter? So I'm going to give it to you in the order of importance that I see. And let's start with the website. I think it's really important for you as an author to have a home, digital home, other than, for instance, a Facebook presence, which a lot of authors up until now have used as their digital home. They have an author page, and they maybe have chosen not to do a website. I think it's really important to have a place that you own. You don't own your Facebook page. Facebook owns your Facebook page. So it doesn't take a lot of effort to do something as simple as a landing page, and that is a one-page website that maybe has a author photo, your name, of course, the cover of your book, a list of the places it can be purchased, links to those places, a description, and how to contact you. You really don't need much more than that if you don't want more than that. That would be the bare minimum. And I think that's really an important thing to have. You can do one very simply on Wix, for instance. There are a lot of platforms that are so easy to navigate, design it yourself, and get that going. You know, don't think too much about it. I mean, I always say act before you think when it comes to being creative, writing a book. Act before you think. You could really think yourself out of doing a lot in life. You know, the more you think about it, the less you jump in sometimes. So jump in. It doesn't have to be perfect. Get something up there, and you can tweak it as you go. But that's really important to have a presence. Also, if you do that, when you where would you put that website address? Well, one place I would definitely put it is in your email signature. So set your emails up so that every time you send an email to someone, you have a signature with a link to your website. So people know, you know, especially if this is not your only gig, you have another gig, you have a full-time job doing something else, and this is your side gig. Well, people will know, and they'll start seeing you as an author, which is a great thing to do prior to your launch. So these are the things that I encourage you do now. You don't have your book ready yet, that's okay. Set these things up now. Certainly social media. Let's shift to that for a second. I mean, okay. I have so many comments on this subject, but I first want to say, if you have any desire to traditionally publish your book, to get an agent and to get a publisher, you really need to have a social media presence. Agents, I mean, undoubtedly, when they get a query that they're interested in, when they see a query that sounds interesting, they like the hook of your book, they like the idea, they like what they see in this one query letter, they most likely will go straight to looking you up on social. They want to see what you're up to. Are you in the writers community? Are you talking about writing? Are you talking about books? Certainly if you're a nonfiction writer and you're writing about nutrition, you have to be on social media. I mean, think about it. I had a client a few months ago who wrote a book on nutrition, and he said to me, he has tons of video, tons of content that he has all over social media. He's got it on YouTube, he's got it on LinkedIn, Facebook and Twitter. And because I asked him what his social media presence was. And so then we looked at his social media pages. And so he's writing this book on nutrition that he's going to sell, obviously, right? And he's going to be selling it for whatever price his ebook in paperback is going to be. The first thing I wanted to see was how much engagement he had on social media. How many people were actually tuning in to what he had to say about nutrition? Unfortunately, there was not a lot going on. There was not a lot of Q&A, people reaching out for more information, asking questions, thanking him for this great piece on vitamin C, I don't know, whatever. So if people are not seeking your advice when you're giving it away for free, they are less likely to pay for it, right? That makes common sense. So this goes to all you nonfiction writers. Make sure you are on social now sharing what you know. You have to have a platform for an agent or a publisher to be interested in your book, or even if you decide to go indie, like we're talking about here, also you need to have a presence. I mean, if you're building your presence, if you take 6 months at the very least to start building connections with people that will be your readership, you are in great shape the minute that book comes out. So I urge you to at least pick one social media platform and interact and talk about the stuff that you're writing, talk about your interests. Don't just talk about the book, of course. Talk about your personal side. Maybe you like to garden. Maybe you like to go, sail. You love sailboats, whatever it is. The more time you spend on building a community and building a platform for yourself and engagement with people, let me tell you something. When you go to publish your book, those people are psyched. They've just spent 6 months or a year or however long with you hearing about, seeing your photos, hearing about the things that you're passionate about. And so I can't stress enough not to launch a book if you don't have some dialogue going on socially first. It's only going to help you. Lastly, the newsletter. This one is a beast for me, I must be honest with you. I know full well that, now my first book came out in 2014. I should have been sending newsletters out on a regular basis for a long time. And it's been like the last thing that I've wanted to do. So I understand the reluctance to put together yet something else. But if you have a website and you are blogging, for instance, or you have social media platforms that you're interacting with, having the newsletter or getting people to sign up for your newsletter is not only, so you have these audiences that I was just talking about on social media, which is amazing and awesome, but what you don't have is the ability to reach every one of them, because as we know, the algorithms for Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or Instagram, any of them, your information is not being seen even by all of your followers. However, if you have them sign up for your newsletter or sign up for an announcement when you post a blog post, you have the ability to reach them individually. You have their email, you've captured their email. So that is kind of the last step, I will say. If you have not done these other things, I would hold off on that. There is also a way that you can send a newsletter out without a website. There are ways to do that if that's something you're interested in. But dive into one of these now if you haven't. If you're thinking about publishing in 6 months or sometime next year, make sure you do the social media part and the landing page. Now, you might be going back to that landing page. You may not have a book yet. You may just have your half-written manuscript. You can still have a page where people can find you, contact you, You can have a blog on it, a separate, menu entry where you can also write your blog pieces about whatever it is and start gaining your audience there. So that concludes week 1. That's where I believe you should be before you shift gears into launch mode, which we are going to do starting on Monday. For the next 11 weeks, I'm going to be here, Facebook Live with you, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard on Monday afternoons to talk about what I'm planning for the week, how I'm going to attack the marketing part of launching following you, which makes me sound super organized, which may not be completely truthful, but that's what we're going to talk about on Mondays, my whole week's plan for what to do for a launch of a self-published book. I hope you'll join me. It was great to see you. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.